Very good afternoon to everyone. All of you look at page 4 of your textbook. Do you find this difference between primary and secondary data? Now, difference between primary and secondary data. How will you remember everyone? See here carefully. You remember it as differ. Difference, so differ. Yeah, okay. Be attentive everyone. Differ. D-I-F-E-R. So difference, differ. Very easy shortcut. In the first point, all of you mark it as D. And what does the D stand for? Data. D stands for data. What is the difference? Underline, primary data is original data and secondary data is not original but collected data. So first point of difference, how will you remember D? D stands for data. Primary data is original, secondary data is collected data. Second point, all of you mark it as I, differ, so I. I stands for inquiry. Okay, I stands for inquiry. Now, how do you make inquiry in primary data? From the units. Primary data, you directly inquire from the units like I did in the last lecture. I directly inquired from 5 of you. And what is secondary data? It is inquired or obtained from the primary data. Okay? Then DIF. Third point of difference, F. Form. What is the form of primary data? Raw form. Raw means ungrouped, haphazard, random. Okay, raw means ungrouped, haphazard and random. For example, Hardik.
Yes, sir.
How much percentage did you get in 10th?
70.
70. Ria.
Yes, sir.
How much percentage?
60.
Krishna, unmute yourself. How much percentage?
41.
And Daria, unmute yourself. How much percentage?
85.
Now all of you see this. 70 and then Ria, how much?
60.
70, 60, 41, 85. Is it in random order or not? 70 is more. Okay. Then after that 70, 60 is less. Then 40 is less. Again 80 is more. This is raw. Now how will we organize it properly? How will we organize it properly?
Classify.
First I will write 40. Then I will write 60. Then I will write 70. Then I will write 80. Did you get this point? So primary data when you collect for the first time, it is in raw form. And secondary data underline classified and tabulated form. So this is how you remember the difference. Form. After that, E. E stands for energy. Primary data you collect on your own, so it requires large amount of energy, underline large amount. And secondary data less amount. Primary requires large amount of energy, secondary requires less amount of energy. Okay? Then last point, R. R stands for reliability. So reliability, primary data are more reliable, secondary data are less reliable. Okay, primary data is more reliable and secondary data, because you collect from other sources, so it may not be reliable or less reliable. 3 methods of collecting primary data are there. When you collect the data on your own, you can collect in 3 different ways. Direct inquiry, indirect inquiry, questionnaire method. 3 methods are there. Okay? Primary data can be collected by 3 different methods. Direct inquiry, indirect inquiry, and method of questionnaire. All of you have seen this population survey is done once in 10 years. Okay? Survey of population. So what do the government agencies do? They come at your house. They ask you how many people are residing in the house, what is their age, how many male members are there, how many female members are there, how many kids are there. What they do, direct inquiry. House to house they visit. and collect the information from you. What is that? That is considered to be direct inquiry. In the last lecture, I asked the marks, favorite actor, weight, and hobby from 5 students. Did I directly collect the information from that 5 students or not? Then that is called which inquiry? Direct inquiry. Okay. Indirect inquiry means you collect through some third parties, through someone else. You don't collect the data directly from the units. See, there are 2 people involved in inquiry. One is the person who collects the data. The one who collects the data is called enumerator or investigator. And the other one is who gives the data. Respondent. Okay, one person is who collects the data. So what do we call the person who collects the data as? Enumerator or investigator. And the other is who gives the replies. He is called respondent. Okay, he is called as respondent. When you directly get the information from the respondent, direct inquiry. And when you get the information about respondent from some third party, it is called indirect inquiry. See, understand it. I'll explain it again with one live example in front of you. Okay, understand it. Urja, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any friend in this class right now?
Yes.
Who?
Riya
Riya, right?
Yadav.
Riya Yadav. Riya Yadav, unmute yourself.
Sir.
Urja,
Yes, sir.
what is Riya's favorite dish?
I think so. Pizza.
Riya, is she right?
Yes.
Urja,
Yes, sir.
what is Riya's favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Riya, is that right?
Yes.
I am not Karan Johar and we are not having coffee with Karan, so don't worry. It's not a rapid fire round. Just a few questions I am asking you. Urja, what is Riya's dream destination? Where does she want to go?
Goa.
Riya?
No.
This is wrong. Now see, I collected information about whom?
Riya.
Riya. But from whom?
Urja.
This is indirect inquiry. So what is indirect inquiry? You collect information about someone, but not from that person. You collect it from someone else. Then that is called as indirect inquiry. Okay. Now, they unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
दे आपके घर में रिसेंटली किसी का मैरिज हुआ है?
हाँ,
किसका?
भाई का
हुआ. आपके बड़े ब्रदर है?
कजिन है.
Cousin brother. Okay, they tell me, when you go for arranged marriage, then generally what do? You inquire about the girl and the girl inquires about the boys through someone else or not?
Yes.
Normally क्या होता है कि, see, I'll tell you my own example. Mine was an arranged marriage. It was not love marriage. So my wife, at that time, I was unknown to her. Her parents inquired about me from my neighbors. How is this boy? Does he have girlfriends or not? How is his character? How is the family? Are the family people good? Will the daughter be comfortable? See, I did not inquire about anything. I did not inquire about the girl from anyone. Okay, I was least concerned, but they were concerned because the girl is going to someone else's house. So they inquired how are the family members, how they behave in the society. So basically, they collected information about me. But they collected information about me from whom? My neighbors. Which inquiry is this?
Indirect.
Direct. So practical life, you many times come across such situations where you make direct inquiry also and you make indirect inquiry also. I hope everyone is clear with this difference of direct and indirect inquiry. Zia, unmute yourself. Hetvi, unmute yourself. Hetvi Brahmbhat. Vani, unmute yourself. Now all of you, be attentive. Suppose Zia has done murder. Zia has done murder of Sushant Singh. Zia has done murder of Sushant Singh. Okay. And let us say Vani is an inspector, CBI officer. Vani is an inspector, CBI officer. Vani, did you go to Dia and directly ask, did you do the murder or not?
No.
From whom will you inquire?
From another person.
From another person, through the neighbors, through other people. You'll try
Yes.
to inquire, how is Zia's character? Is she really into criminal activities or not? What does she do for the whole day? Whom does she meet? Whom does she not meet? So investigations, police, CBI, income tax officers, they also do which kind of inquiry?
Indirect.
Direct. Now, direct inquiry, all of you be attentive. Meaning of direct inquiry is clear to you. You investigator directly investigates or collects the data from the respondent. Okay. Now, how will you remember the advantages of direct inquiry? Listen, everyone. See, suppose a girl approaches, gay, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Suppose a girl directly approaches gay and asks him few questions or asks him for a date. Happy na they? Yes or no? No.
Yeah.
So what happens when you make a direct inquiry? The other person becomes happy. In Gujarati or Hindi we call it as फूल के फुग्गा हो गया. फूल के क्या हो गया there?
Fugga.
Fugga. So how will you remember advantages when you go for direct inquiry? Fugga. F-U-G-A. All of you write down fugga. F-U-G-A. Fuggas. Fuggas हो गया. ज़्यादा फुग्गा हो गया. ज़्यादा फूल गया. Fuggas. F will stand for which point? Fourth point. F will stand for fourth point. Field of inquiry. How is the field of inquiry in direct inquiry? Limited. How is the field of inquiry in direct inquiry? Limited. Okay, how is the field of inquiry in direct inquiry? It is limited. Then U. U stands for fifth point. Unwilling respondents. U stands for fifth point. Unwilling respondents. What is that? When respondents are unwilling, not willing to give the information, then how can you get the information? By asking supplementary questions. Okay, this is all you remember. U. Then Fuggas, G. G stands for get supplementary information. G stands for get supplementary information. You can ask extra questions and get more information, and you can try to verify the person is speaking right or not. Okay, for example, if someone says that he is having lots of money, you look at his attire. Is he wearing proper suit or dhoti or kurta, and you can find out really he is speaking right or wrong. You can ask extra information to him. Which car do you own? Where do you stay? Which area do you stay? So you can really identify is he speaking right or wrong. So get supplementary information. Then A stands for first point, accurate and reliable. A stands for first point, accurate and reliable. S stands for second point, solve any question or doubt. You can solve any question or doubt which arises during the inquiry, because you are directly connecting with the people. Okay. Riya, question, unmute yourself. How do you blow the balloon?
With the air, mouth.
And with your mouth, right?
Yes.
So how will you remember the disadvantages? All of you write mu, M-U, mu. M stands for 2 points.
More.
More time as well as more expensive. And U stands for untrained enumerators. If the enumerators are untrained, it will not help you in getting reliable information. Okay? So this is how you can remember the advantages and disadvantages of direct inquiry. Okay? Now, indirect inquiry, meaning we have already seen, and where is it useful in practical life? We have seen CBI, police investigations, inspectors, etc. Now, what is the suitability of indirect inquiry? Means where is it suitable? Where is indirect inquiry suitable? Remember pics. Indirect inquiry means you take the pics, images of, like police does the investigation. How do they do indirect inquiry? They take pics, they take images, they collect evidence. So remember it as pics. P stands for personal contact. You can make personal contact. It's on page 5, okay? I stands for when information is complex nature, like CBI investigations, CID, these informations are complex nature. Then which inquiry is suitable? Indirect inquiry. C stands for cost. When the cost is very much. Direct inquiry means if you have to collect information about 100 people, then instead of contracting 100 students, I can contact the class teacher or the principal and collect the information. Where will less cost be involved? Directly asking the principal or class teacher about you. So in indirect inquiry, the cost is limited. When direct inquiry's cost is very high, we can go for indirect inquiry. And S stands for source does not exist. Like that murder example. Murder is done, the person only is dead. How can you inquire from that person? The person is dead. Can you inquire from that person? No. So here we have to do which inquiry? Indirect inquiry, because the source itself does not exist. Now, how will you remember advantages and disadvantages of indirect inquiry? Just now, see, it's everything in link. So all of you remember this. If you blow balloons, then Fugga Fula Fula ke you will become Fulan Devi. So how will you remember advantages? Fulan. F-U-L-N. How will you remember advantages of indirect inquiry? F-U-L-N. F stands for field of inquiry is very wide. When field of inquiry is very wide. U stands for fourth point, useful for various government departments. Then L stands for less cost, time and energy. Third point. And N stands for not willing to give information. When you are not willing to give information like in CBI inquiries, then you have to collect the information by indirect method only. There you unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
You have asked what is the meaning of direct source, right?
Yes.
Just now I told you which two parties are involved in data.
The one who enumerator and respondent.
Respondent. Respondent is called direct source.
Okay.
Beta unmute mat karna. Listen. What did I tell you about that murder?
One was the murderer. One was police inspector, and other one was the third party.
Third party. But what happens in the murder? The respondent is alive or dead?
Dead.
So can you collect the information from the respondent?
No.
So here direct source does not exist. Here the respondent does not exist. So we have to collect which inquiry, direct or indirect?
Indirect.
Okay, so this is suitability. When is indirect inquiry suitable? When direct source does not exist. Now, how will you remember the disadvantages? TB, textbook. Your textbook has so many things. It is disadvantage to study because so much of theory is there. So TB. T stands for second point. Okay, T stands for second point. When third party is dishonest, inefficient or unable to provide information. And B stands for first point. Biased attitude means partial attitude. So for example, if I collect information from your class teacher and she is biased towards you, she may give me wrong information. If you are a mischievous student in the class and I ask about you from her, how you are in studies, even if you are good in studies, she may say or he may say that she is not or he is not good in studies. This is called partial attitude or biased attitude. Because you are collecting information from someone else, if that person is biased, then you will not be able to get reliable information. Okay?